r/off my chest. Nikki says, my boyfriend doesn't find me attractive, and it makes me so insecure. My boyfriend and I have been dating for nearly 9 months now, and are mostly long distance, but we try and see each other as often as we can, usually once a month if we can. When the relationship started, I had never felt so confident in myself. He made me feel so beautiful, and I even managed to stop slipping into disordered eating habits that I had struggled on and off with for years. I'm not an insecure person. I've had periods of time in my life where I have been insecure, but when I met my boyfriend I was actually in a pretty good place. I had started to really love myself for the first time and had found a lot of confidence. I was extremely happy with my achievements and where I was in life, and had finally managed to understand my worth. When I met my boyfriend this only got better. He made me feel even better about myself in such a genuine way. After the first 2 months of the relationship, where we were seeing each other fairly consistently, we had to spend around 4 to 5 months completely long distance. This was pretty okay, we managed for the most part, but it was definitely a very testing period for us. We last saw each other in early May, and it was amazing. I truly love him so much, and it is always so good when we are together. But after we went back to long distance it felt different. He immediately started making a lot jokes about me being ugly or fat. This is quite normal for us in a sense. We'd often joke about small things, but never anything that would actually make the other person upset. I found this weird because I didn't really look any different. If anything, I had lost weight, as a month earlier I had gotten extremely ill and lost a lot of weight in a short period of time that I had been struggling to put back on. But the jokes were constant. Anytime I'd mention anything about food he'd instantly reply with a joke about me being fat. Now I'd say about a third of the things he says to me are about me being fat or ugly. I'm fully aware I'm not his type. He likes very conventionally attractive blonde girls, and although I know I'm not ugly, I definitely don't fit his type exactly. I can accept this, and I understand that looks aren't everything in a relationship, but sometimes I just wish he would think I was beautiful. I think he is the most attractive person in the whole world, and it hurts me so much that when he looks at me, he doesn't think the same. I know that he says he's joking, but I've told him previously that I don't appreciate the fat jokes, as I've previously struggled with eating and my body image. This doesn't stop him. Today I actually cried while talking to him. I had told him I was hungry as it was 2 p.m. I hadn't eaten, and I had already been in the gym, so I said I was going to make some food. He made another joke and I really couldn't take it. I told him how hurtful it was to always hear how ugly and fat I am, and that I don't care if he thinks it, but I'd just rather not hear it. He said he was only joking, and he hadn't meant it in a harmful way. I'm torn, because he did seem genuinely sorry and surprised that it had been upsetting me, but I've told him before it makes me upset. And that hadn't stopped anything. Part of me thinks he wouldn't say it so often if there wasn't some truth to it, but another part of me thinks I'm being dramatic and he really is just joking with me. In complete honesty, the jokes wouldn't bother me so much if they actually only came across as jokes, but he's only called me beautiful once this year when he was extremely drunk, and he calls me ugly almost every time we speak. I know he might just be joking, but it's so hurtful. I don't expect him to call me beautiful or shower me in compliments, but he doesn't make it seem like he's attracted to me at all. Because of this, I've found myself becoming a lot more insecure than I was at the start of the relationship, and now I'm at a point where I can't tell if I'm letting my insecurity getting the best of me or if I'm being logical. I don't want to nag him about this, but I spent so many years finally getting to a place where I was truly happy and secure with myself, and I'm terrified of having to build up my confidence all over again because of some Busy little Honaby says. Significant others who respect their partners don't make jokes like this. 9 months is a bit of time to waste on someone, but at least it's not 2 years. Run, don't walk to a better future. Find someone who loves you inside and out. Someone who would rather eat glass than make you feel like shit all for the sake of a joke. Chances are he's not joking, he's trying to hurt you, so you just leave and he doesn't have to feel like a piece of human shit. Dwarven_Baker says, me and my wife constantly joke like this. Granted, it's our dynamic, and we aren't hurting each other in the process. Maybe his last relationship had this dynamic, and he's genuinely confused why it's hurtful. Or maybe he's a dick IDK. Mos on my left says, why in the actual hell are you putting up with this? You should expect someone to shower you with compliments, because there are men who will do this. Your boyfriend is a tool. Take a step back and look at it as a third party. If your friend told you this story about her boyfriend, what would you tell her? You'd tell her what I'm going to tell you. He's a tool. He knows it hurts your feelings, and does it anyway. He doesn't respect you. People who love you will not intentionally cause you harm. Lastly, of course it isn't true. He is projecting his own insecurities onto you. Time to send this man back to the streets. He's not the one. Do not spend one more minute on this dude. r/offmychest. Marianne Berylus 5291 says, I lied to my boyfriend about what day it was. I 23 female, have been dating my boyfriend 24 male, for a bit over a year now, and we recently moved in together. He is amazing, and I wouldn't want to be with anyone else. There's no secrets between us. Recently has been in a depressive slump, and I've done everything I can to make sure that he knows that I'm here for him. Even then, some days it's hard to see him like this, and I feel like I can't do anything. Yesterday was the worst day yet, and he barely got out of bed or even spoke at all. I looked at what day it was on our calendar and I assumed that it was because it was his dad's birthday. My boyfriend was incredibly close with his dad, but he had passed away a few months before we had gotten together due to a certain international epidemic. He always tells me how my pops would have loved you. I felt like he needed my support more than ever because of this, so I bought his favorite flavor of ice cream and held him while I put on a movie. Halfway through the movie my boyfriend hugged me and apologized for being so down, to which I responded that I understood and that on a day like the birthday of a departed loved one it'd feel the same. As soon as I said that he froze and tears started streaming down his face before he said I can't believe I forgot. He then started crying, repeating that sentence over and over again, and I felt my heart break for him. He looked up at me with tears in his eyes and asked me what time it was and if he missed his pop's birthday. I looked at my watch over his shoulder and saw that it was a bit after midnight, but I kept a straight face and told him that it was 11:50 and that he hadn't missed it. He was so relieved, and I asked him to tell me stories of his pops to honor his memory and distract him from looking at the time. We talked about his pops for well over an hour, and as he talked I saw a bit of a sparkle back in his eyes. Today has been making an active effort to be present, and it seems like has coming out of his most recent slump. But I still feel so incredibly guilty that his current improvement in mood is built on a lie. I've never lied to him before, and even though I'm so happy to see his improvement in mood, it makes me feel queasy that I lied to him. Too long. Didn't read. I lied to my boyfriend and said that it was still his late father's birthday to spare him the guilt of missing. Dreality3208 says, don't feel guilty. Do not feel guilty for 1 second. What you did was the most kindest, sweetest thing anyone could do. This is barely even a lie. You did it to make him happy, and it doesn't cause harm to anyone, and also don't feel guilty. If my BF did something like this for me, and I found out, I'd ask him to, marry me lol. One day when he's in a good place, maybe years from now, maybe when you get married, you can tell him the truth. You didn't lie, you told him what he needed to hear in that moment to be better. You protected him. So although lying is bad, and you shouldn't lie, I think in this specific situation it's okay. It's like when dying patients are out of it and ask to see someone, and doctors lie and say they are here and pretend to talk as them so that their final moments are happy and they think they were surrounded by loved ones. Drereality3208 says, this is something that also could never be talked about. You did nothing wrong. This was a pure act of love and kindness for your partner. Monstrous Existence says, this was so kind of you. He is very lucky to have you. You need to take it to the grave. Intelligent_love4444 says, what a beautiful way to be there for him. I thought this was gonna go another way. He didn't miss it. He had a feeling, he just didn't realize it. Sending love and support your way up. He's so lucky to have you. But Asmitikanen says, you might call it a lie, but it's probably the most beautiful selfless lie I've ever heard. Besides, time zones are a thing. It was still his dad's birthday. Don't feel guilty. And maybe it's better he forgot all day instead of having this recent weight on him the whole time. It's now time for an unpaid shout out. This is Mrs. Junkman. She reads kids books for kids. Check it out in the description. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.